You see, there's this temptation. We all have to share every little detail of our lives. We live in a world today where people are constantly sharing on social media, in conversations, in passing moments. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to feel connected. And while that's human, there's a fine line between sharing and oversharing, and it's one that you've got to be careful about crossing. You don't owe the world your entire self. Not everything is meant for public consumption. Some things, some parts of you need to be protected, guarded, and cherished. So today I want to talk about 5 things you should never share with anyone. These aren't rules, but lessons learned from life experience, things that, when you hold them close, protect your peace, your progress, and your purpose. Number 1, your plans. Let me tell you something. One of the most common mistakes people make is getting ahead of themselves, talking about their plans too soon. It's easy to do. When you have a vision, when you're excited about something, you want to tell the world. You want to share that spark of hope you've got inside you. But here's the thing, that dream of yours, it's fragile. It's like a newborn baby, delicate and still growing. It needs protection. It needs nurturing. And if you expose it too soon, before it's had a chance to strengthen, it could get crushed. You see, a dream, a plan, an idea, it's all potential. And potential needs time. It needs space to develop, to grow roots before it can stand on its own. But when you start talking about it too early, you risk exposing it to things it's not ready for. Negativity, doubt, and even envy from others can be like poison to a fresh dream. You might think that by sharing your vision, you're just being open, that you're creating excitement, but not everyone you tell is going to have the same reaction. Not everyone is going to feel the way you do. Some people won't understand your vision at all. They'll look at your dream and won't be able to see what you see. They'll question you, tell you it's unrealistic, or say you're aiming too high. And you know what? Sometimes that's all it takes to shake your confidence, to make you second guess yourself. Suddenly that excitement it turns into doubt. You start thinking, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe this is too much. And in that moment, you've allowed someone else's doubt to cloud your judgment, to weaken your resolve. It's like planting a seed and then constantly digging it up to see if it's growing. You're disrupting the process. Then there's the envy. Not everyone around you is going to want to see you succeed. I know that's hard to hear, but it's the truth. There are people out there who are struggling with their own failures, their own insecurities, and when they see you working towards something, instead of being happy for you, they feel threatened. They might smile to your face, but deep down, they don't want to see you win because it reminds them of where they're not. So they throw shade, subtly discourage you, or even sabotage you in ways you don't see coming. You think you're just sharing your excitement, but in reality, you're giving them the keys to derail your plans before they've even taken off. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a time and place to share your plans. You're not meant to walk this path alone. There will come a point when you'll need support, advice, maybe even collaboration. But the mistake people make is thinking they need to share too soon. Until your dream is solid, until it's strong enough to stand on its own 2 feet, it's best to keep it to yourself. You need to build it up in private. You need to work on it quietly, without the weight of other people's opinions, without the pressure of proving something to anyone but yourself. Think of it like this. When an artist is working on a masterpiece, they don't invite everyone into the studio while they're still sketching. They don't need an audience when they're in the middle of their process. They wait until the piece is finished, until they're ready to unveil it to the world. And when they do, the world sees the final product, the polished, completed vision, not the rough drafts and unfinished strokes that came before it. That's what you need to do with your dreams. Work in the shadows and the quiet, where no one can interfere with your process. And then when you're ready, let your success speak for itself. There's power in silence. There's power in holding your cards close to your chest. in working diligently behind the scenes. Because here's the truth: when you're working in silence, you're working without distractions. You're focused. You're not performing for anyone. You're not worried about what anyone thinks or how they're going to react. You're simply building, creating, moving closer to your goal. And when you finally reveal what you've been working on, it's not a dream anymore, it's a reality. It's something that's ready to stand on its own without needing validation from anyone else. Success doesn't need an announcement. Success makes its own noise. The moment you achieve what you've been working toward, people will notice. They'll see the results, and the results will speak louder than any words ever could. But if you spend all your time talking about what you're going to do instead of actually doing it, you run the risk of being all talk and no action. You run the risk of letting your energy get wasted on impressing people with words instead of with results. It's like running a race. You don't start bragging at the starting line about how fast you're going to finish. You don't start celebrating before you cross the finish line. No. You keep your head down, you focus on the path ahead, and you run your race. You run with everything you've got. And when you cross that finish line, then you celebrate. Because you've earned it. You've completed the journey. But you don't get ahead of yourself. You don't let distractions pull you away from what matters: the work, the process, the grind. So keep your plans close. Share them with only those you trust completely. Those who genuinely want to see you succeed and will support you along the way. But even then, be cautious. Know that your dream is your responsibility, and it's up to you to protect it. Not everyone is going to see what you see, and that's okay. Not everyone needs to. Your dream is yours. It's your vision, your mission, and your life's work. Work in silence. Nurture your plans in private. Let them grow strong before you expose them to the world. Because when your dream is fully realized, when it's ready, it won't need an introduction. The world will see the results, and your actions will speak for themselves. So guard your plans. Protect them like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. 2, your personal struggles. Everybody's got struggles. Life is hard, and that's a truth we can't avoid. We all face moments when it feels like everything is coming down on us at once. The days when we can't seem to catch a break, when the pressure builds and weighs on our spirit, pushing us to the point where we feel like we can't keep going. It's a reality for every person walking this earth. But here's the thing: just because you're going through something doesn't mean you have to put it all on display for the world to see. There's a quiet strength in handling your struggles with privacy. Now, I'm not telling you to hold everything inside and try to be some kind of superhero. Everyone needs help, and we all need people who have our back when times get rough. But your personal struggles, the things that truly challenge you at your core, don't need to be public information. Not every battle you fight needs to be shared with everyone. You've got to learn to discern who deserves to know what's really going on with you. Because when you open up to the wrong people, you risk putting yourself in a vulnerable position, one where people might judge you, criticize you, or worse, use your weaknesses against you. You see, people love to talk. And when you share your struggles with someone who doesn't really understand you, or someone who doesn't genuinely care about your well-being, it opens the door for them to twist your story. They take bits and pieces of what you've shared and turn them into something that suits their own narrative. Before you know it, your personal battle becomes the latest topic of conversation for folks who don't have your best interests at heart. They'll speculate, they'll gossip, and they'll make assumptions about you that have nothing to do with who you really are or what you're truly going through. That's why privacy is key. Not everyone is qualified to give you the advice or support you need. Not everyone is even equipped to understand your journey. And when you share too much with the wrong people, their opinions start to shape how you see yourself. Their judgments can creep into your mind, making you doubt yourself even more than you already do. And in that space of doubt, you might start to believe the lies they built around your struggles. So they're doing well. But let me tell you, there's a danger in that. The more you put your financial success on display, the more attention you attract. And not all of that attention is going to be good. Some people will see your success and congratulate you, but others, they'll see an opportunity. Not everyone around you has good intentions, and if you're not careful, they'll find a way to get a piece of what you've worked so hard to earn. There's always somebody looking to take advantage. The more you broadcast what you have, the more you become a target for people who are envious or opportunistic. They might come to you asking for favors, pretending to be your friend, but deep down, they're only interested in what they can get from you. And before you know it, if you're not careful, you'll be drained emotionally, mentally, and financially. It's a slow process, one that can sneak up on you if you're not paying attention. And let's flip the script for a second. What happens when you're struggling financially and you start telling people about it? That's just as dangerous, if not more. When you let the wrong people in on your financial difficulties, you open the door to all kinds of judgment, pity, and manipulation. People love to talk and they're quick to gossip. Once you share your financial struggles, you give them ammunition to spread rumors or cast judgment on you. Suddenly, your private struggles become public knowledge, and you're not in control of the narrative anymore. Some folks will even pretend to offer help, but their help comes with strings attached. They might lend you money, but now they've got something to hold over your head. They'll act like they're doing you a favor, but they'll expect something in return. It might not be immediate, but trust me, they'll collect eventually. And once they've got that hold on you, it's hard to break free. The thing about money is that it's a tool. It's a resource that you use to live your life, but it's not something that needs to define you or your relationships with others. When you start sharing too much about your finances, you risk letting it take over how people see you, how they treat you, and even how they approach you. Whether you have a lot or a little, your financial situation shouldn't be the reason people are drawn to you or pushed away from you. That's why it's so important to keep your finances private. It's not about being secretive, it's about being smart. You don't need to broadcast every financial win or struggle to the world. You don't need to explain yourself or let anyone in on your financial details unless it's absolutely necessary. The only people who should know the ins and outs of your finances are those you trust completely, people who have your best interests at heart, people who will give you sound advice and won't use your financial situation to manipulate or take advantage of you. And when it comes to money, trust is key. Whether you're discussing investments, debts, savings, or spending, the people you talk to about your finances should be people you know will keep that information confidential. These are the people who won't gossip behind your back, who won't judge you based on your bank account, and who won't try to get something out of you just because you're in a certain financial situation. In today's world, we're surrounded by social media and constant pressure to share everything about our lives. But when it comes to your finances, you need to resist that urge. You don't owe anyone explanation for how you're living, what you're spending, or how much you're earning. And the less you share, the more control you keep over your life. Because here's the thing, once you let someone into that part of your life, you're giving them power to judge, power to manipulate, and power to spread your business where it doesn't belong. So whether you're financially comfortable or you're working through some struggles, keep that information close. Guard it. Not everyone needs to know what's going on with your money. The only time you should be discussing your finances is when it's with someone you trust completely, someone who's in your corner for the right reasons. Don't fall into the trap of oversharing or trying to keep up with others just because it seems like everyone else is putting their financial life on display. In the end, your finances are just one part of your life. They don't define you. They don't determine your worth. And they certainly don't need to be the reason people are drawn to or distanced from you. Keep that part of your life private, and you'll find that you have more peace, more control, and fewer people trying to take advantage of you. Your money, your business, keep it that way. 4. your good deeds. There's something truly special about doing good in the world, helping others, giving back, and making a difference in someone else's life. When you reach out to lift someone up, when you offer kindness without expecting anything in return, you're making the world just a little bit better. But here's where people often get it wrong. Your good deeds don't need to be shouted from the rooftops. In fact, the most meaningful acts of kindness are often done in silence, without fanfare, without a spotlight. The moment you start talking about every good thing you do, the purpose behind it shifts. Instead of focusing on the people you're helping or the difference you're making, it becomes about you. It becomes about how others perceive you, about boosting your image or feeding your ego. And that's not why we do good, is it? The intention behind kindness should never be about getting recognition or praise. When your actions become performative, when they're done for applause or approval, they lose a bit of their purity. True generosity comes from a place of love, empathy, and understanding. It's about connecting with another human being and recognizing their worth, even when the world might have overlooked them. When you give to others, whether it's your time, money, or a simple act of kindness, the power of that act lies in the intention behind it, not in who knows about it. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of wanting others to see the good you're doing. But the most profound good often happens quietly in the moments that no one else witnesses. There's an old saying, the left hand shouldn't know what the right hand is doing. This means that when you give, when you perform an act of kindness, it should be so natural, so effortless, that it doesn't even occur to you to tell anyone about it. You're not doing it for validation. You're doing it because it's the right thing to do. When you keep your good deeds private, they remain pure, untouched by the need for approval or recognition. They stay true to their original purpose. That's not to say that you should never talk about the good you're doing. There are certainly times when sharing your story can inspire others to act, when it can bring attention to important causes or spark meaningful conversations. Sometimes by sharing your journey, you can encourage others to get involved, to give back, to care about something larger than themselves. But those moments are rare, and they should come from a place of sincerity, not self-promotion. Most of the time, the real power of your good deeds comes from the fact that they were done quietly without expecting anything in return. There's something beautiful about helping someone and knowing that no one else needs to know about it. It's like planting a seed. You don't need to see it grow to know that you've done something worthwhile. The act itself is enough. You don't need applause to validate your kindness. The impact is felt whether or not anyone else is aware of it. When you start broadcasting your charitable work, it can cheapen the act. It turns something that should be selfless into something performative. Instead of being about the people you're helping, it becomes about the attention you're seeking. And while it might feel good to receive recognition for doing good, that's not the reason we do it. If your motivation for helping others is rooted in how it makes you look, then you're missing the point entirely. The most genuine acts of kindness are done with no expectation of repayment, no hope for praise. They come from the heart, from a desire to make the world a better place. And often those acts go unnoticed by the rest of the world. But that doesn't make them any less impactful. In fact, sometimes the most significant changes happen when no one is watching. You never know how far a single act of kindness can ripple through someone's life. Keeping your good deeds private doesn't mean you're hiding them. It means you understand that the value of what you do doesn't depend on who knows about it. The world doesn't need to applaud you for you to know you've done something meaningful. The person you helped, the difference you made, that's the true reward. The gratitude you see in someone's eyes, the relief in their voice, that's the recognition that matters. So the next time you find yourself doing something good, pause for a moment before you share it. Ask yourself why you feel the need to tell others. If it's to inspire or to spread awareness, then share with purpose. But if it's for validation, consider holding on to that moment for yourself. Let it be a quiet victory, a reminder that you're making a difference in the world without needing anyone else's approval. Because in the end, the impact of what you do doesn't depend on who knows about it.
Don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you found it helpful, and share it with someone who needs a little motivation.